Let's see who's the first person to show up. I should start the coffee. You know what? I'm just gonna have a cup of coffee this morning. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna wait. I'm just gonna start talking. The Stonefish went live. I don't know what's going on. Notification must not be going out. Anyway, Stonefish went live. You can order them at Blade HQ right now. I got the email. I forget what time it was when I got the email, but I got the email this morning saying that they're taking orders now on Blade HQ. So if you want a Stonefish, which everybody should have one. I mean, really, look at it. Just look at it. Everybody should have one. Dude, the coolest thing about the handles is you can feel that peak, but it's not sharp, and it gives it a really cool, almost cartoony, like rendered look. Like it doesn't look real when I look at it. It looks like something you'd see in a 3D render. Only 2 people on a Thursday morning at 8 a.m. I don't think I've got water enough for coffee here. Nope. So, what was that? Mernin. Yeah, there's 5 people here. There was only a couple people here. Well, maybe I've screwed up the chat. Let me see. No one's talking, but maybe I have it on top chat, not live chat. There we go. Morning, Robert. So this week, the stones are supposed to be, I went and checked the mailbox. Those stones I ordered are supposed to be here today or tomorrow. Morning, Kurt. So I would imagine they're going to show up this afternoon, this evening sometime, unless they show up at the door. I'm not sure how they're getting shipped 100%. You know how you get UPS? Sometimes it comes UPS ground and then it gets picked up at a post office. So I'm not sure if it's going to be done that way, where like it makes it to a point, but I know it's in San Diego. So it'll either be here today or tomorrow. I know that. I got my UPS thing, but I've had a bunch of times where UPS will, FedEx too, where it gets handed off to the postal clerks. Like it makes it to the city and then it gets handed off. So I'm gonna take a look at that after. If they show up today, I'm gonna finish those couple knives, but I've got straight razors to do as well. So I imagine that it's going to end up being tomorrow. So I was explaining to somebody, why I don't like, why don't you just sharpen the knives? You said you have your, morning, Matt said you have your flat stones. And I was like, those are real expensive and they're for razors, for straight razors. And I'm gonna have to flatten all those because I did a few knives on those and there's big gouges down. And you don't want that when you're sharpening a straight razor. You want it perfectly flat or as flat as possible. But I'd go get one and show you, but you can see there's grooves because what happens is when you're sharpening a knife, the tip drags through the stone. It does, it's always gonna do it, and you wind up cutting a groove in the stone. So your flat part, but then when you get down, you can see these little curves at the end of the stone on each side. Remember, whether you're doing it just passing, with edge leading only, you're gonna always have those on some of those softer stones. And like I said, my 1,000 grit stone that I was gonna use is for razors. The one I like to use came apart, so that's gonna show up and then I'll get that stuff done. But yeah, you don't want to be ruining something that's more expensive. Let me put this on do not disturb. There we go. I keep forgetting to do that. And my phone's gonna stay on, dude. Guys, any of you guys that call, don't bother. I'm not gonna be answering my phone anytime soon. The only time I'm gonna talk to a customer on a phone is if I either call them or I've sent them a message to call me. I can't keep doing it, guys. It's too much. I've taken my phone number down. It's on the business cards, but it's not in the contacts. So if you guys are trying to get a hold of me to send me something, I wouldn't even say text me. I would say email. Email is it. That's it. I've gotten, no, I have a puck. I've used one of these to sharpen. You talking about one of these? I have a Lansky Puck. I've used this on knives. This is actually a really nice stone. If you're looking for something light to carry, you can still sharpen on this. I've sharpened a lot of knives on this, but it's not a water stone. It's an oil stone, and I use it as a water stone, but you really got to soak it. Yeah, I've used these on knives. If you're just out in the field, this is like it's probably like a 400 grit. It's like a 400 grit. That's probably like a 220, maybe 400. It might be a 4 and 6. I don't know, but it's a Lansky. It's a Lansky sharpening stone. I've used it. There's no reason you can't use that on knives. It's deceptively heavy. I've sharpened a lot of knives on this actually. Before I got a bunch of nice stones, I sharpened most of our kitchen knives on this. Right? This I've only been putting about a 600 grit edge on. 650. It cuts great. I did an Instagram post yesterday. I cut a bunch of cardboard and shit up and was just randomly cutting wood. There was neighbors are doing some renovation, and I pulled a couple pieces of wood out of their dumpster, and I was cutting. I was just like, oh, it cuts really well, man. And then you get up and you're like, oh yeah, that's comfortable. Just checking to make sure that I did not put out a product that I couldn't back. I was like, I'm going to give my own product a review. There was a piece of nail inside the wood, like a little rusty piece, and it looked like a knot at first. I'm like, and I hit it, and there was a section from about here to about here where it was just no edge. It was like, I was like, that was something real hard. And I got to looking at it, it was a nail. And so I rolled the edge and I had to resharpen it. But this has been doing a lot of, it's actually already, I've already scratched it all up, and it's got spots. But I have really been tearing into stuff. I've got some scratching on the blade here. There's some right there. So, but no, they are live. They are available now for purchase on Blade HQ. So if you were waiting to try and get one and didn't hit the email me, I am giving you a notification that they are available as of me waking up this morning. Yeah, it's my knife. It's gonna get beat up. That was what it was designed for. Guys, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but there's 11 of us and only 2 likes. So that either tells me you guys forget to do likes or you actually don't like my videos. So, anything else going on? So yeah, the wife and kid got back yesterday. They landed at about 11:30. I picked them up at 12. Are you ready for this? You ready for San Diego's newest cash grab? So you guys know that I've driven Lyft, and I have the Lyft placards. They're stickers. They stay in your car. Yeah, see, I said something about likes, and a bunch of people left. I'm not gonna do it. If you guys don't want to like the videos, don't like the videos. Fuck it, I don't care. I'm not even gonna say it anymore, because every time I say it, I see like half the people just disappear. So, anyway, so I was at the post office, or at the airport yesterday, picking up the wife and kid, and I pull up, and I'm not gonna lie, I did run a red light. And I figured, this cop starts writing me a ticket. I was like, fuck, he's writing me a ticket because I ran a red light. And this dickhead wrote me a ticket. You know what the ticket was for? The ticket was for having my placards displayed at the airport. He was like, you can't park. I was like, I'm not picking up a customer. I'm picking up my fucking family. Doesn't matter. Can't have the placard space. I don't know if you guys know this. They're fucking stickers. I can't just peel them off and put them back on. It's not like an on and off thing. It's not like a vinyl thing that you could just take off and put back on. And I'm like, so I have to contest that online. Can't tell if that's my coffee pot or not. Yeah, so I can't figure out what people want to see and what people don't want to see. I get hate mail of stuff that I think you guys want to see. I put stuff up. It's just doing a YouTube channel is weird. It's weird because, like I said, you end up getting hate mail and stuff like that. Which, if you want to start a YouTube channel, I'm gonna warn you right now. Everybody else I've talked to is like, oh, I get it too. So I'm not too concerned about it. There's people that just enjoy what I like to call recreational outrage. And so recreational outrage is where you really don't have a vested interest in anything. You just want to be, because you're angry, you want to try and make other people angry and unhappy. So it's recreational outrage. It's a hobby for some people. And so I'm just like, why am I worried about it? So prepare for that. I've got so much shit in my hands. I was trying to get some stuff done before the wife and kids showed up. Oh, you guys want to see something? So my wife was like, make sure the house is clean. I don't want to come home to a dirty house. Right? That's what I get. And I'm like, the house is fucking clean. I know how to clean a house. I was in the Navy. We cleaned all the time. So clean the house up. It was great. There was a couple of things. I was still in the process doing laundry by the time she showed up. So there was some clothes in a basket folded up. And then she comes home. And I'm like, why the fuck did I even bother cleaning? Why? Why did I even bother? It looks like a Japanese fucking department store threw up in here. So here's what happens. They go to Japan every year. And there's a lot of stuff that we can't get, either one, can't get here from Japan, or can't get anywhere close to the price she can get it in Japan. So I think we've talked about this before, she sends a whole bunch of stuff home. So she ships stuff that's not as fragile, stuff that's not like boxes of rice. Rice here, the kind of rice that she likes, one, you can't get the rice that we like. They just don't grow it. Two, the rice they do have that's even close doesn't even come close to tasting the same, and it is expensive. So what she does is she goes to the base and she mails stuff to me from the base. She has her military dependent card. She goes on base. She goes grocery shopping. She uses the post office there, ships stuff back here, and then right before they leave, she ships most of their clothes, and the expensive, fragile stuff is, I don't know if she sent them or not, but the whole thing is that David said he could get them for me. So she puts the expensive, fragile stuff in the suitcases because it's a little bit more controlled than going across seas. So, and all of their luggage is hard-sided. So she can put that stuff in there that she couldn't necessarily send. So when they come back, my house looks like a Japanese department store. So I went and had liver and onions yesterday. My wife was so tired. It wasn't so much she's tired. She's like me. She hates when flying makes her body hurt. And so, it's a really long flight. So even my daughter's she's 11 and her feet and everything were swollen. So anyway, we got back to the house. My wife's like, why do you hate me? So, so she comes, because I had liver and onions. No, I didn't get any new stones from Japan. She can't find the ones I like. I'm pretty picky about, like, if I'm going to spend that kind of money on a stone and then have it brought all the way back from Japan, I'm going to be pretty picky about it. We couldn't, the ones that I used to get, we can't find. I found equivalents online for cheaper. So anyway, so the kid and I got in the car and we went over to Family House of Pancakes, and I had liver and onions, mashed potatoes, peas, navy bean soup. She had French fries, a corn dog. It was a really good corn. I took a bite of it. I was like, that's a really good corn dog. And a pancake. And so she ate half the pancake. Like, their pancakes are this big. Like, she ate half the pancake. It was like, Daddy, I'm full. So she didn't even finish her stuff. And then when we got ready to leave, we had 2 boxes. I threw all her stuff in a box, and she didn't grab her box, and I didn't realize it. I had my leftovers. She left her pancake there that she was going to eat this morning, the rest of it. But it's okay. I know how to make pancakes. Their pancakes are amazing. That's one of the first places. That's one of the first places I'm taking our mother when she shows up here, sis, is Family House Pancakes. She's gonna love it. To give you a burrito the size of a, you know, the black box, the one, these, the thing that you guys sit on that is really not got any wine in it anymore. I used it all for cooking. It's got a little bit. It's way old. They give you an omelet like this big. This is what it looks like. My friend Nico and his wife Bridget could both together could not finish one omelet. They have corned beef hash. They serve breakfast all day. They got fresh made home fries, fresh cut fried onions. She's gonna love it. Well, I'm gonna get her real high. She's gonna get here, and I'm gonna get her. She thinks she's been high before. I'm gonna get her like, I can't move. I can taste my tongue. Why is my tongue like in a weird place in my mouth? Yeah, you know that feeling? I do believe it's sprinkling. So yeah, like I said, there's not gonna be any, I gotta help my wife do this. Or if I don't help my wife do this, she will kill herself trying to get this all done. And since I don't have the stones I need yet for a couple of them. Oh guys, I am going to try to sell this design while we are in Vegas. I'm gonna talk to everybody I can. You guys might see the sea snake coming out. God, this thing is nice. This is Matthew's. Matt's let me borrow his. I don't have an example of this. I don't. It's my design, yeah. This is my sea snake. All knives. This is one of those knives. This is another one of those knives. Scout carry. I don't like, I used to carry a sheath knife, like a belt knife, like vertical. But you always have to like either have it way down low, like the cold steel ones where the belt loop is up at the very top of the handle. When that means it hangs way down low and it slaps on your leg and it makes a lot of fucking noise. Or you have something like this, but like in the middle, and then you've got this much knife. You got that much knife sticking up above your belt, and it's jabbing into your side. You can't get comfortable. If you flip it over the other way, then it's jabbing into your leg, but it doesn't slap, like I was saying. And that's when I was like, Scout carry is the way to go. So I started, like, I modified some of my knives and made them into Scout carry because I thought it was just a better idea. Stonefish. That one. So I don't have any of the others here right now. The green one is with Levon at the Knife Nuts podcast. The tan one is with Jim Skelton. He took a bunch of pictures. He posted one of them up. I don't know if he's posting up anymore, but I can always post up the other ones because he sent them to me. He sent me the pictures. He took a bunch of pictures. I didn't like the tan one until I saw the pictures that Jim took, and I was like, all right, that tan one is fucking sexy. I was like, I'm gonna keep the green one. So it's I'm hoping that they do well. Like if I go to, like, I want to go to Blade HQ like later today and see sold out. That would be great. That would be perfect. So let's make that happen, guys. Yeah, they're removable, and I had them do the titanium but not coat them because I can anodize those. So if one of you guys say buys a Stonefish and you want me to sharpen it and anodize the hardware, I can't do ceramic coatings on these. They are too big. But I could do a bead blast and stone wash if you don't like this fine stone wash. I do like. It's a little less friction, a little more frictionless, and not as shiny as others. This is a really good stone wash. It does scratch though. So what I was saying is, like, I could take it apart, I could anodize this hardware, and I could do a dark stone wash on this, like a blast and tumbled stone wash. More like what you, well, let me go get the full custom. Robert's full custom is sitting here still because I wanted to show it to somebody in Vegas. Hang on. So you have a darker stone wash. It's still a stone wash, you can see it, but it's a good bit darker compared to this. And there's, I personally like, somebody argued with me and said I was just being lazy. I don't like the way a 220 grit finish looks on these knives. It just doesn't look as nice. And when you stone wash it, then you wind up with little like shiny spots and stuff like that. So God, these ones, this 20CV is thinner behind the edge. I made these, the hand ground ones are thinner behind the edge. This 20CV on this and this both are, holy crap. This is just ever so slightly thicker behind the edge. When you're grinding by hand, you can go slower, especially at the higher grits. You get going slower, you're taking off material a little bit more safely. It's not something you can really do as easily in a production setting because it takes a very long time to thin that out the way you want it. And then you get really, really thin behind the edge. It's like super thin behind the edge, but there's enough material behind it to support that. And so that just gives you, it just wants to cut. It just wants to slice. So this is Robert's. I asked Robert if I could hold on to it until I could show it to a couple people, because there's a couple people that were interested in like how I did the rock patterning on it. I was going to explain it to them. Young kids that were going to be at Blade, or at USN, I mean. So, you know, how I carried it over. It's not that hard. I ground it with the handles on. So yeah, that's something I would think about doing is, I wouldn't make the handles for them. You guys could not afford to have me make handles for them. It would cost more than a knife. So that's one of the things I would get with Cerberus knives. If you guys want like custom handles for them, that's something I can get with Cerberus knives and do it. You can send them to me and I can make sure the handles get installed and make sure they're on the right way and stuff, because I've seen too many people like get stuff and then they're like, fuck, I can't, like it's not quite level or something like that. They don't know how to deal with stuff like that. Like if the hardware sticks up a little bit, I mean, there's tricks to it. So making everything flush and match and recessing hardware and things like that. So that they're not obtrusive, they're inobtrusive and still aesthetically pleasing, if that makes sense. Marrying handles, like every once in a while, so a handle might have a curvature to it, not be completely flat. How am I going to deal with that? You know, stuff like that. But then you have to adjust some thickness on some of your hardware every once in a while. I have to do it every time I make a custom. So doing it on one of these would be easy because they were already adjusted once. So yeah, I can't do ceramic. I could, like I said, I could definitely do a dark stone wash, like you saw on that one. I wouldn't do any regrinds. I won't polish, especially a finished knife. Somebody asked me, it's like, oh, don't be a pussy, you can do it, do that. I was like, look, it's not being a pussy. I like having all my fingers attached. And if you've ever seen a fully finished blade come flying off of a buffing wheel and hit the wall behind you and come, there was a guy killed not too long ago. Buffing wheel caught a piece of material from him and threw it, and it bounced off the wall and it came back, and I can't remember if it hit him in the neck or the heart or the eye or where it hit him. It doesn't fucking matter because it killed him. I haven't seen a penny from these yet. Not looking at getting myself killed. You guys want to hear something disgusting? That ticket for having placards on my car is going to cost me $262 if I don't contest it. I'm going to keep going on about that. That really pisses me off. That's just a straight up fucking money grab. Oh, who's coming? Who's coming that you got to pretend to be a normal human being? One of Mom's friends from the hospital? Or one of the family members we have that are actually humans, so it must be from the Stonebrook side. Probably one of our older cousins from the Patterson or Stonebrook side. Oh, AC repair. Fuck that. You don't have to be acceptable. They fixed it once just not long ago and it's broke again. So it's like it gets hot. I'm not gonna lie, it gets hot where we grew up in Ohio, where my sister still lives. It gets hot. It's every bit as hot. It's 85, 95 degrees in the summer, just stiflingly hot. But what people out here like, it gets 95 out here. I was like, yeah, it gets out here 95, but it does not get like fucking 90% humidity that often. And they're like, what's that got to do with it? I was like, that's the attitude of somebody that has lived somewhere where it doesn't get real humid. I'm gonna tell you right now, I was in Ashwaiba. It's a deep water port in Kuwait, just near the Iraqi-Kuwaiti border. So you got Kuwaiti Naval Base, which is the U.S. Naval Base, and you have Arif Shan, which is an air base, and then you have Ashwaiba, which is a deep water port, and guys, it'd be 125 degrees, 95 to 100% humidity. Like you could just, it was like breathing through a wet sock. It was horrible. It was like breathing through a wet towel, and 125 degrees, and you're wearing long sleeve shirt, hat. You have to wear your glasses because there's so much shit blowing around. Bulletproof vest, pistol, first aid kit, ammo for pistol and rifle, and an M4. The vest by itself weighs like 40 pounds. You're carrying like 90 pounds of gear. It's 125 degrees. It's 95% humidity. And you can't get any relief because you get back inside any place and it's every bit as hot, if not hotter. You can't take a shower during the day. So if you happen to work at night and you wake up, you want to get ready to go, that water in that tank is fucking hot. There is no cold water. You're taking a hot shower. You get out. You're like, is this water still on me? And you wipe off and you're like, no, it's sweat. It's sweat. It's fucking horrible. And people are like, I don't understand why the military needs to get paid so much. Really? Motherfucker? You know who else needs to get paid more? Military and people that do fucking tar and stone roofs. They're pretty. If you go to Iraq, or if you're on a roof, I did one of those tar paper roofs with the asphalt and the rock. I did that for like 3 days one time. Never again. They're pretty. It's pretty similar to the fucking conditions you're at in Iraq. It's pretty fucking miserable. It's dusty, it stinks, fucking crazy hot. I saw a shirt. Now I know that not everybody agrees with what Trump does, and I don't agree. I voted for him, and I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he does or says. He's a very distinct individual. But I saw a shirt that said like Obama calls me clingy. Clinton, Hillary calls me, I can't remember, but it was something bad. ISIS calls me an infidel, but Donald Trump calls me a veteran. He is dedicated to veterans. I will say that when he talks about veterans and the things that he's done, speak leaps and bounds. You know why I think he might win this next election? Really? The Democrats are doing so many stupid things. They didn't televise this. This should make you a little bit iffy. The Democrats, they didn't televise their debate, the big one that they had, where I can't remember. They're part of their campaign. A lot of their campaign stuff this year has not been televised. You're just kind of getting stuff. So I don't like Democrats to begin with, except Bill Clinton. I did like Bill Clinton. He was a really good president. Like everybody's like, oh, you just don't like Democrats. I'm like, Bill Clinton did a really good job. He did a lot for the military. He did a lot for the country. But it's all the other people that run and then damage things as Democrats. I see their policies are flawed, in my opinion, coming from a military standpoint and thought process and owning a small business and thinking as a small business person and having grown up on a farm. None of the things that I hear coming out of the Democratic Party are things that I can align myself with. So, like, to give you guys an idea, I didn't necessarily so much vote for Trump. I just knew I had to vote against Hillary because I saw the whole thing with how she handled secret documents. And they're like, well, she didn't know. It's not that big a deal. And the thing is, the standard for handling secret documents should be at least proportional at all levels, if not increased as you get further up, because you have more of a responsibility. So if she was Secretary of State, she definitely had more of a responsibility and definitely should have been briefed more and had a higher level of knowledge than an E4 or E5 in the military who would go to prison for that, because he's just starting. He doesn't, I've only ever done this a couple times, and he winds up in prison for mishandling confidential information. She is way above any of his superiors. So if anything, punishment should be of a higher level, and it wasn't. It was not commensurate to her position. And that's one of the things that just irked me, and I was like, look, if she knows that she got away with that, what else would she try to get away with? And I just couldn't in good conscience vote for her. Plus the whole thing where I heard the documents where she got a murderer off, even though she knew he was a murderer. And she goes, it doesn't matter, I won. I'm like, you got a murderer off, knowing that he had actually committed the crime. I'm not saying that no other politician has fucking done shady shit like that. I'm just saying I had stuck in my call and I couldn't do it. So yeah, guys, but that's not what this is about. This is hopefully the next one I market. There is a third knife that you guys know about that I think I have to talk to a couple people, but it's all in the works. And Jesus, Matthew, how did you screw up S120? I gotta sharpen this before I go to Vegas with this. Matt uses his knives. This is a one of a kind. One of a kind. I can't refinish the blade. We pinned the handles. I would have to make new handles. I'd have to bore out the pins. There is just no way to refinish this. He still used it that hard. I love Matt. He's fucking great. He's got 2 or 3 custom knives that I've made for him, and he just uses the shit out of them. I was like, hey, do you want me to leave? Because I borrowed this. I was like, do you want me to leave prototype Hornet with you? So he's like, I've got your full custom Hornet. He says, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's better than the prototype. It's like, okay. Oh, you know what I can do for some of these? Do you guys remember seeing Matthew's knife? Matthew's knife had tiger stripes on it. I could put patterns on the blade and blast them in and then tumble them. That's something I could do, but I can't really do colors. I can't do ceramic on these. They're too big. They're too big to fit in the vat. It's too much material to try and get an even coating because the electricity doesn't distribute evenly and correctly. And so it's just not something I can do on these. So. But for anybody that wants a less reflective coating, like I said, I can always do a blast and tumble on these. You just would lose my incredibly important maker's mark that is my father's handwriting. So, oh man, this thing is great. Like I said, 600 grit edge. It's aggressive. You don't want to, you put your thumb on it and you don't want to, I'm like just barely touching it. I'm like, nope, you don't want to move your thumb. You don't want to move your thumb. Let's see. Guys, I can't think of anything else. I'm probably gonna wind up getting off of here. I just wanted to let you guys know that they are up, they are available. Drop a like if you liked the video. We might stick around. If you guys got any questions, I'll stick around. I'll answer some questions if you want. But like, if I don't see a lot of stuff in comments, I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie. I was up till like midnight last night with the kid. So now I'll just ramble because we're basically done with the important part, the first 30 minutes. And I'm not sharpening until those stones get here. So probably tomorrow. I want to spend some time with the wife and kid. I got to help her with this. It's going to be a busy day. Yeah, end early and tell us to go buy a stonefish. Go buy a stonefish. I'm not going to end yet, though. I mean, because I can't, if I was going to start unpacking some of that stuff, but I start making a bunch of noise, the wife and kid will wake up, and I want to let them sleep. I'm going to let the wife sleep for another 15, 20 minutes. So she was exhausted. And then she was unpacking stuff because all the boxes that she sent and mailed, she was going through all that stuff upstairs. Isabel came in and I was like, she looked tired. And I was like, Isabel, why don't you come in and lay down on my bed? I'm going to play a video game and watch a movie. I'll put on my headphones. You can lay there and snuggle a dog, play on your phone, just rest. I was like, just rest and relax. I wanted her to lay down. As soon as she laid down, she got her phone and her headphones. She was watching a YouTube video. I look over and she's like, so thank goodness. So I want to let them sleep. But they, like I said, that's a long, long, long flight. I had like a 4-hour layover in Tokyo as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna start tearing into this shit and making a bunch of noise because, in fact, my wife will get up and I want her to rest. She looked so tired. Like I said yesterday, she didn't even go eat with us. And at like 10 o'clock when I took some stuff upstairs and put it in the box, my records box, a bunch of documents and stuff and shipping receipts and stuff so that for my taxes, I have a box where I keep all that stuff. And I went upstairs and she was like just sitting there and I was like, are you okay? You're tired? Because she didn't come to dinner with us. She was too tired to come to dinner with us, with me and the kid. And I was like, you look so tired. And she's like, I'm hungry. And I told her, I was like, there's not much in the refrigerator, but I brought home some leftover liver and onions. And she was like, she hates liver. I love liver. You guys ever heard of liver sashimi? You ever heard of that? I've had it. It's gonna make you sick. A lot of you guys are gonna be like, that's disgusting. They take liver, raw liver, and they slice it into really thin pieces. And they're about that long, and they're just like little strips of raw liver. And you just eat them with a little bit of soy sauce and some wasabi, and maybe some cabbage with a little bit of like vinegar dressing on it after. Guys, it's crunchy. It does not taste like we would think it would. It does not taste like liver does. I love the taste of liver, that real minerally, because we were poor and we ate a bunch of organ meat growing up kind of thing. And I love it. My sister loves it. But when it's raw, that's not what it tastes like. It tastes, no, but I'm not lying to you, Matt. It tastes a lot like rare steak. It is delicious, but they stopped serving it throughout Japan. They had issues with, I don't think it was mad cow. There was something else. People got sick from it. And in Japan, once somebody gets sick from something, it's just never happening again. They used to steak tartare. I love steak tartare. We used to get it and it'd have an egg. Oh, it's delicious. You can't get it in beef. You can get it in horse, which is every bit as good. Raw horse meat, basashi or wushiu. Basashi is just simply raw horse meat served on a bed of onions, super, super finely sliced, with soy sauce and wasabi. And it's fucking delicious. I'm not gonna lie to you, horse tastes good. I lived in Japan for 13 years, and I have news for you. I was on a base. Here's the thing. The quality of the beef liver that we were eating was like incredibly, incredibly good. It was real fresh, had just come from butcher. It was not like it's something that you just bought sitting on a shelf at a fucking grocery store that's been there for fucking weeks. It was not, because I have tried and it does not anywhere. That's part of the problem with the way liver tastes, is a lot of times it's not fresh. So, oh, kangaroo is kangaroo tail steaks, pretty fucking good. The other thing that's amazing that I had is crocodile. It is sprinkling. It's raining a little bit. I love crocodile meat. I had a crocodile meat. It was crocodile and kangaroo meat in a stew while I was in Darwin, Australia. Fucking delicious. Amazing. It was amazing. You know what I want that I haven't had in a long time? Borscht. Borscht is good. I had borscht, like real, actual, no joke borscht, because I've been to two places in Russia. I went to Vladivostok, and there's another place called Petra, way up north. Um, Alligator and crocodile, they're the same. Croc or alligator, they taste pretty much the same. So I went to Vladivostok, and then we went to a port way up north, called Petra something. I can't remember the name of it. And so I got to eat like actual Russian food in an actual Russian village. We went to this place where you went in and they have a fucking. Now keep in mind, we were there in July. It was 50 degrees in July, and people were running around in shorts and going swimming, talking about how good their summer was. And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. We had left Japan. It was like 97 degrees when we left Japan. 97 degrees and raining, so it was a nice cool day of the summer that day. And we got to Vladivostok and it was like 54 degrees. And I'm wearing like the warmest coat that I own, which is the pea coat for the uniform, because we were had to be in uniform. I'm in my dress blues, which is a warmer uniform, usually not a summer uniform. 54 fucking degrees in the daytime. And then in the evening, as it started, because evening doesn't happen till like 9:30 or 10 because the sun doesn't go bad. Like, we were playing volleyball at like 10 o'clock at night on the fucking flight deck. So it's cold outside. You're like, fuck, I want to go inside. We go in this restaurant, raging bonfire inside with this big chimney that catches it. And they like medieval style fucking cooking. They've just got racks of sausages and fucking beef fucking stuff. And you just sat down and it was like cabbage and sausage and beef and fucking potatoes and what you did is you paid, you went in, and then they would just go fill your plate up, and you paid per plate. You went in and then they would just write it down and you paid per plate. It was fucking amazing. Fucking sat there, ate. It was delicious. It was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. It was some of the best food. The borscht was like free. It was like a side. I don't know. It's like getting coffee at a restaurant. They just kept filling up your bowl. It was fucking amazing. Where else so that was in Petra. So it was actually colder in Petra. It was like in the 40s. It was trying to snow when we went to Petra. Vladivostok was significantly poorer. I want to say, because both of them are in Siberia. Petra's further up. Vladivostok's in southern Siberia. Both places we went, it was cold, real cold. And then, but like I said, the whole fucking food in Petra was so much better. Vladivostok food sucked. I'm not gonna lie, food sucked. Except for this one place we went, had been a theater, that the downstairs was a bar and the upstairs was a restaurant. And it was right on the water, and we sat and we were eating and drinking and just looking at the ocean, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful city. Vladivostok was gorgeous. It was just real poor. Poor to the point, you guys ready for this? Poor to the point where it was a huge naval base, Vladivostok. As a matter of fact, it gets mentioned in The Hunt for Red October. That's the port where the ship left from. They pulled their nuclear submarines up onto the beach, beached them, set them flat, and ran cables off of the nuclear power plants in these to run electricity for the city. That's how poor they were. They retrofit their nuclear submarines along the beach, pulled them up out of the water, set them in the dirt, and fucking ran massive cables off of these things to run power for the city, because they couldn't man the subs anymore. This was just about the fall. This was just right about the fall. When I went to Vladivostok, I want to say it was 1992. So that was just either shortly after the fall or right about the fall of the Soviet Union. They didn't have anything. Most people people smelled. And so they smelled weird, and I was like, what the fuck? Everybody smells funny. I mean, super, super nice, but everybody was like this weird, like cheese smell. And so one of the guys that was the ship's husbanding agent also told us some stuff, and he goes, the people smell, we smell funny because we don't have enough fresh water to take showers. So usually we bathe with salt water. And I was like, oh. And then I got to thinking about it. They're getting salt water from the harbor, and I saw what the harbor looked like, and I'm like, ew. No wonder you smell funny. So he was saying that a lot of times for cooking, if it's something that has to be cooked in water, but they don't have enough water to boil it, what they'll do is they'll put stuff in a bag, tie it up, and put it inside a thing of seawater and boil it that way. And then that way they limited amount of fresh water they're using to actually cook the item, as opposed to a whole pot of it. And I'm like, that's fucking poor. Like, I thought I grew up poor. Like, we were one family. That's a whole fucking country. It was pretty bad. It was pretty enlightening. And I was like, as to why communism has failed. And now people are trying to bring it here to the States. And I'm like, dude, you guys never studied history. That's the problem. Most of our politicians they're like, this person's not qualified. Like, Trump's not qualified. This person's not qualified. Man, all you got to be is a certain age, natural born citizen, and have to have resided within the country for the last at least so many years prior to your run. That's the requirements to be a president. Let's talk about all the other qualifications you should have to be in politics, period. Study history. Study history a lot. Have a degree in history. Let's go back and study some more history, because the shit they're doing right now is a replay of bad mistakes that other people have made in other countries that fucked them, and they're not paying attention to their history. The study of history is designed to prevent us from making the same mistakes that we made before. If you don't study history, you are destined to repeat it. I love history. My sister is even more passionate about history. I'm a literature guy. She's more of a history person. And I'm seeing, even though I studied history, I liked history, I got A's in history. These things that people are doing, they're not seeing the correlation between how badly things went for other countries that are doing the same thing. I would go with gun control. Let's look at gun control. Countries that have taken the weapons out of, and I don't mean recent history, I'm not talking like Australia, I'm talking in the past. A well-armed populace is the last line of defense against tyranny. That's all I'm gonna say. Do you know who said that? Our fucking founding fathers. That was the purpose of the Second Amendment. That's not a gun nut saying that. That is one of the fathers and creators of this country. An armed populace is the last. It's the last fucking checks and balances against a tyrannous government. So I'm just saying it. No, I don't want to sound like one of those fundamentalist fucking nutballs, but I'm telling you that my guns are never going to be handed over. I'll give them the bullets first, and then whoever's left can come and get the empties. I refuse. I refuse to give up any of my weapons. And people are like, oh, you're the kind of guy that's got like 5 ARs. I do not have ARs. I have 2 ARs, and I built them both for my father. Well, I built one in Ohio for my father. I don't have an AR. I don't have a rifle, period, in this house. Because I don't need a rifle. I'm not an outdoorsman anymore. I don't like assault rifles. They're fucking inaccurate at best. They're like the leather. I look at a assault rifle or an AR as more like the Leatherman of the weapons world. It does a lot of stuff. It fits a lot of bills, but it doesn't do any of them great. And I know you guys are going to argue with me like, oh, I built an AR. Da, da, da. I'm not talking about the ones you built. I'm not talking about the one that you dialed in and put a fucking scope on and then benched it and you're fucking shooting groups fucking that you can cover with a nickel at fucking 800 yards. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about just the general go buy an AR off the fucking shelf and then think it's going to be the end all be all, because it fucking isn't. Because I will take a fucking Savage Arms in 30-06 and outshoot you all day and twice on Sunday. Why? Because that gun was built for accuracy, not multi-purpose use. So I don't need or want an AR. However, comma, I do believe that if you want one, you should fucking be able to own one. Because what was it? The analogy I made? Jesse and I both have said the same thing more than once. Like I heard him say it last. Spray and pray. Yeah, that's what they're good for. The one that Jesse said it, and I've said it before, and he reminded me of it when Jesse was here. Gun control laws are like the equivalent of looking at traffic deaths and saying, "Oh, there's a lot of sober people being killed by drunk drivers." Okay, we just won't let drunk drive. We just won't let fucking sober people drive anymore. Problem solved, right? No more sober people getting killed by drunk drivers. Does that make sense? You're gonna punish the people that are not breaking the laws? And everybody's like, we need more gun control laws. And I was like, do you think gun control? They're like, these shootings and people are getting killed. And I'm like, you guys do realize that when you look at law books, murder is illegal. What makes you think they're going to listen to fucking gun control laws? They already are breaking the one that should even trump that. Like, if you already had gun control laws, if you didn't have a law like murder is not illegal, then you did gun control, that might make a difference. But I got news for you. They're already breaking the law that says you can't kill people. What makes you think they're going to fucking, like, oh, I can't use a gun to kill people anymore. Oh, no, I can't. I got to listen to that law. I'm not going to listen to this one, but I got to listen to that one. It's not at all. And I said it sarcastically. I was like, when are these people going to put two and two together and realize that the cities that have the highest gun control laws, the strongest, most stringent gun control laws, also have the highest gun crime? Baltimore, D.C., Chicago, Detroit. I don't know about Detroit's gun laws. Detroit's just a shithole. Nobody cares. So, they already have really, really, really stringent gun control laws. Now, let's look at Arizona. Arizona has way less. You can open carry weapons. You don't have to register weapons. None of that shit. You know what they do have? Lower gun crimes. You know why? Because in an armed society, you have a tendency to be a little bit more polite. I hate to say it, but if everyone was carrying a gun, legally, carrying a gun, I would say that we would have a lot less gun crime, because I got news for you. I'm a lot less inclined to be a dick to somebody in line at the ATM if I think they might turn around and put a fucking hole in me. It's just, an armed society is a polite society. People are nice to each other because no one wants to get shot. And guess what? Criminals will be like, what the fuck are we going to do? Everybody's got a gun. Who are we going to rob? Whose house are we going to break into? I think that we would see a drastic drop. I've heard of towns that mandated, like, you had to get a waiver from the sheriff. This has been years ago. I think this was in the 70s. There's been small towns that mandated all adult males will carry a firearm at all times in public. Now, I'm sure that it got taken down, but I remember there was like a fucking TV show. It was a documentary about it when I was growing up. I remember seeing it. Like, you if you don't want to carry a gun, you got to have a waiver. You got to have a reason why, or if you're like a felon or something like that. It is silly. It's silly. And the thing is, people don't vote based on thinking about what the policies are going to get put in place. They vote based on, who did my father vote for? What party did my father vote for? I voted for this guy before, and then after, and then after, and then after. That's how you get these fucking bullshit fucking congressmen and everybody that don't do a fucking thing for this country. Why? Well, I voted for him last time. Yeah, but did he do a fucking thing? Did he show up? I would like you guys to look. If you don't agree with me, it's fine. We don't have to agree. We don't all have to agree. I'm not trying to incite or just sway anyone either direction. I'm just saying these are what I think. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you, but we don't have to fight about it. That's I get tired of the hate. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Just hear me out. Look up your congressman and look at their attendance record and look at what they've actually voted on. So you can look this up. You can see how many days Congress was in session. Do this with your Republicans, with your representatives, it's your congressmen and your representatives, senators and representatives, I mean. So look at how many days they were in session, how many days they were attending in session, and how many items they actually voted on. Look at those three things and tell me if your senator or your representative are doing what you elected them and are paying them. You are their boss. You are paying their wages. You, the taxpayer, you, the people. See what they voted on, if they voted, how many things were brought to the floor, and how many votes they cast on said items. Look at how many days that they were in session and how many days they were in attendance while they were in session. You will be terrified at how this country runs. You'll be like, what the fuck? You ready for this? Congress and House of Representatives cannot put anything, they are not to put anything into law that does not affect them. Do you guys remember when I first started this channel and I worked for government and I was on furloughs and I was only getting paid 4 days a week and I lost 1/5 of my income that year? Do you guys remember government shutdowns where I was a DoD employee and I didn't get paid for 2 weeks? Do you guys remember those? Guess what? Congress, they got paid. President, he got paid. I'm gonna tell you that you guys, as voters, you guys would be hard pressed to find any of your senators or representatives that voted on half of the items. That would be, like, I would say probably a quarter, that they even cast a vote, yay or nay. Like, I don't want to get involved. That's your fucking job. 2, I think you're gonna be appalled at how many days that they were in session, period. You're like, what the fuck? These guys get paid a lot and they're never there. And out of the days that they were in session, you guys are gonna just fucking want to throw up in your mouth when you realize that most of your senators and representatives showed up a quarter of the times that they were in session. So they're not in session a lot throughout the year. I don't know if you guys know that. They're really not. And a lot of these representatives and senators don't even show up for those. I would say you're getting probably a month's worth of work out of what technically are your employees. Informed voters. Informed voters are politicians' biggest fear. And on that, at 59 minutes and 10 seconds, I'm gonna tell you all goodbye. 9 of y'all still here. So, guys, these are just my thoughts. You don't get upset. You don't have to get wound up. Don't send a bunch of hate. I actually am today calling. I have a police report. Calling the detectives for this police report. I have to talk to them about online harassment. I'm getting some online harassment. Not just emails. It's everywhere. So I'm going to take care of that today and talk to the detective. We were supposed to talk yesterday, but I couldn't because I had to go pick the wife and kid up. So he told me to call him at 10 today, so I'm gonna take care of that. So, guys, that's it. 58, 59. Love you. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down, and I'll talk to y'all later. It's time to go.